Angie Townsend, and I was director of Edenhound Beauty in Hazelmere.
Okay, thank you. And Angie, thanks for agreeing to have a chat about your experiences with us. What can you first of all just set the scene? Give us a brief description of your business and what led you to decide to sell.
Okay, so my business I'd had for 30 years. It had grown and grown and grown. It was very successful, but we just felt that it could be time in the beginning, that it could be time to actually sell it while it was still buoyant and yeah.
Great. And I remember that from your first contact with me, it was probably 18 months, 2 years before we actually ended up going to market. So there was lots of kind of preparation from your end, wasn't there, to get to the stage of mentally and of course practically being ready to sell?
Okay, so firstly, before I even met you, I did quite a bit of research on brokers, because never having done it before, it was something that I felt quite anxious about, more anxious actually finding a broker than actually selling the salon. So I did my research. I looked through the National Hairdressing Federation. I looked through Hairdressers Journal. I found 5 brokers, which I then contacted, you being one of them. And 3 of them got back to me, soon and promptly. And then I had long conversations with those 3. And that's important for people to know, because one, you do need to do your research, because there are very different styles of brokers, which I can easily explain to you.
And what was it that you found particularly, when you said you had fears? What were those fears about choosing the right broker, and what was your decision-making process?
Okay, so my fears were that because I'd never actually sold a business before, I was entering into unknown territory. And I think as creative people, which we are, at the end of the day, I have had a very successful business, but I started as a hairdresser. I am a hairdresser, so I'm much more on the creative side than I would say academic. And I think when you're starting to deal with lawyers and brokers, and it was a fear that I could be taken for a ride or misled, and I wouldn't actually know that that was happening.
Right, okay. And what was it particularly that made you decide to go with me and our services?
So as I say, I spoke to 3 people. What I enjoyed, most brokers wanted a £3,000 upfront payment before they would take us on. So alarm bells started ringing. You didn't want that. You were very honest, very frank. I think our first meeting, we had quite a heated discussion about the commission, because I actually at the time, and hear me out here because it was a journey, but at the time I actually thought that your commission was expensive. It was more expensive than anybody else. But I enjoyed your frankness. I felt right from the get-go that you were a very honest and open man, which it turns out to be that I was a great judge of character. And you didn't wrap anything in pretty paper. You told me that it was going to be a long process. You told me there was going to be lots of work to do. And I just felt you were honest. I'd also, when I got down to the 3 brokers, I'd done quite a bit of research, and a lot of the feedback that you had, all your feedback was very positive. And so I would say do your research too, because from then I actually felt, I think I also personally have trust issues, so I needed somebody that I completely 100% trusted.
Okay, okay, thank you. And then when you then started to work with me, what were your kind of initial impressions? So, you know, so far you've made your decision. So
Okay.
how did it start panning out for you?
Okay, so initially the work, it was quite, you annoyed me quite a bit because you were asking for lots of information, and that I couldn't actually understand why at that point it was necessary. Is it EPC?
Yeah.
Valuing my business, the rental, getting somebody in to look for the rental, just all the, you know, I can't even remember the information that you had to get, but it was a lot of stuff that I had to get. I had to get 5 years worth of books together, and so I didn't realize at the time, I didn't see why that was necessary, but at the end I actually understood why you were helping me prepare for the end, because the end, when it happened, was so quick and a little bit overwhelming, which it is. You have to pass through that to get to paradise, and it was good that you were quite belligerent, for want of another word, that we got that information together.
Yeah, because I think that it's also, from my perspective, very important to have the information to hand so that we can deal with any issues that we might need to. You know, having that rental valuation was very important because then we didn't need to negotiate it later. So I understand there was a lot of work up front, but hopefully you'll see now it was necessary to make sure that the ride further down the line was better, and also that I had a full understanding of your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Why I'm saying that is because people that are thinking about selling their business, I want them to know that there is a reason why you
Thank you.
insistent on all that information, because it makes it so much better at the other end.
Yeah. And I noticed that, like, our great relationship grew as we went along. There was a kind of mutual trust and respect for each other as things went along, and things started to make sense and unfold.
Well, that's why I said at the beginning, you know, when I first met you, I thought that your commission was slightly more expensive than anybody else, but the service that I actually received was second to none. You were on the end of the telephone whenever I needed, and there are times of highs and lows, and I want to say that to somebody that's thinking about buying a salon too, you know, and you were there at any time. I didn't have to wait for your response, or if you were away or were unable to talk to me, you always made sure that I knew. It was seamless, the service that I received from you. And I think over the 2 years, you also got to know me sort of personally, because it is an anxious time, and you were always very calm and sort of helped me through any of the tricky situations.
Yeah, yeah. And I also remember there were quite a few meetings that you had to kind of attend, different types of buyers coming on the scene, and you kind of grew into that role, didn't you? Can you chat to that for a bit to give people some advice?
That's something else that
There
I
are a lot of
thought you
meetings.
right. So something that you were unbelievably amazing at is that we did have to meet with people that were interested in the company, and there were time wasters along the way, which was also fantastic because I didn't spot those, whereas you did, because you obviously, that's your business, you've been doing it for so long. But in meetings, it was wonderful to be able to have you in a Zoom meeting with me, because I just felt I wasn't on my own. I felt protected, that if there were things that I didn't understand, you were able to pick up the reins and go with it.
Yeah, and I remember you're such a passionate person about your business, and you're such a transparent person. And often I had to sort of say to you, look, Angie, let's not give them this information at this stage. Let's be a little bit more
Yeah.
strategic. You know, and you kind of grew into that role. You kind of started
Well,
understanding
thank you for
together.
that. I mean, I am known for chatting quite a lot, and I was passionate about my business, so I could have chatted about it. So yeah, there were times when you were like, okay, well, they just need the headlines, not the whole editorial for now, which
Yeah.
was fantastic. So I
Okay.
was pleased that you were there.
And if you could say a couple of things that you felt were the most important things for you as far as the service I offered to you was concerned. I know you've mentioned a couple
Yeah.
gone along, but what were the key things that you would say, look, Zach, this is the thing I appreciated the most throughout
I
the journey?
think just explaining information to me, Zach, that I really didn't understand without making me feel stupid. Now, look, I'm not a stupid person, but I'm not academic in the business side of things. As I say, I started as a hairdresser and I've learned things along the way. But that was the most important thing. I knew I could ask you questions. You know, what was SPA? I didn't even know what SPA was in the beginning. And it's sales purchase agreement, by the way. But there were things that I didn't understand that I was able to ask you and you explain, or just I used to just text you or WhatsApp you, what is this? That was great. You explained the whole process stage by stage. You also didn't, each stage you talked me through. I think if you told me in the beginning what it was going to be like, I don't know whether I would have actually sold my business, because there are times when it's quite I was quite anxious, but I was so happy that you were on my side.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I personally pride myself. My number one sort of mantra is to make sure that the client's interests are looked after. So even when offers are coming in and brokers might think, oh, well, you know what, let's get this deal over the line and make the commission. I have a principle in my mind that if I don't think a deal's fair, I will tell you, and we'll keep searching. So how did you find that you know, that honesty in terms of, you know, the deals that were coming? Because again, you don't know what you it's your first business you're selling.
I got to a point where I completely and utterly trusted you, because everything that you had said or suggested had sort of revealed itself to be true. So over that time, I really valued your opinion. So there were times, you know, when you have offers and you start the process and then it falls through, or they were time wasters, or for whatever reason, you do start to feel a bit disheartened. Oh, we've got to start again back at the beginning. But because you also have, you know, gone through the process so many times, and for me it was the first time, you were absolutely brilliant at just guiding me through that, and just saying, no, hang on, slow down, let's not rush this. Whereas perhaps, which is also detrimental to you in a way, because you know, some brokers could have just wanted to get a deal, whatever happened, and it didn't matter what I got. You know, we had set our payment structure, you and I, so it didn't actually matter what I got, you were still going to get paid. But I didn't feel that that was the case with you. You were genuinely passionate and interested in getting the best for my business.
Right.
Which
And
you
and
did.
are you happy with the outcome? Are you happy?
I'm
Because
absolutely delighted. You also said to me in the beginning, you know, there are people that sell their companies, which I'm sure there is, that regret it afterwards. I have no regrets. And looking back, actually, a bit like childbirth, you know, at the time it's really very uncomfortable, but when you look back and you think about it afterwards, you think actually it was an amazing experience. And I actually can say that working with you without being, you know, you're not paying me commission, I'm just saying it how it is, was an amazing experience, really pleasant. And the only thing really, I do miss the girls a little bit and the sort of the chat with them. However, you know, the people that I want to meet up with, I'm able to have time for my friends now, which is wonderful. But I actually miss our conversations. I'm starting to think,
our daily morning
business, what other ones of my businesses should I sell? I really enjoyed the conversations that we had, and because I work early in the morning as well, I'm a morning person, I really enjoyed the fact that you were able to work in the morning as well, and it was great. We got things done very first thing in the morning, which was great.
Yeah, and obviously responsiveness is very important for me. And I like to respond to things immediately, and the fact that we could discuss something that had arrived in the evening the next morning and off the reply goes a few hours later, I think was important for momentum. Do you feel?
I really felt what I enjoyed too. I don't know whether this is the way people do things, but it just worked for me, is that we worked a lot on WhatsApp. I don't know if that's normal, but I was able to leave you voice notes and you were able to leave me voice notes, so that whenever any of us were free, we were able to pick those up. So exactly as you say, I think I've just said what you said, but in 100 more words.
Yeah, because I think you prefer, different people prefer different modes of communication. And I think in your case, and I do often work with people with WhatsApp, they just find it easier than sitting down and writing emails.
Yeah, exactly that. And that was definitely me. And that really worked for me. So thank you for that, because that was good.
Pleasure. And also in your case, you actually own the freehold of the property as well. So it wasn't just a matter of finding somebody and just getting the best deal, but we needed to make sure that we had a company that was going to make the business stronger than it is right now. And obviously they've got to continue paying you your rent. So it was we needed to secure a really good, strong buyer, didn't we, with a good future for the business.
Okay, so one of the briefs that I had right at the beginning is that I hadn't fallen out of love with the salon or the team, and I wanted somebody that was going to love the team like I loved, and was going to take what I had created on further. That's what I wanted it in my wish list. And you have definitely found that company that one is still passionate about the team, is a young, fit company that is going to go from strength to strength. So is going to actually make it better. I mean, I'm from the sidelines going to still be cheering Eden on, because and I'm really excited about what they have. And you found that person. You weren't just finding anybody, and there were people that had come along that actually, as we started going through the process, you just said to me, I don't think they're a fit, you know, I don't think they're a match for your company, which was fabulous too, because in it all you're a bit blinded, but you definitely have filled the brief.
Great, thank you. And you know, I know the final negotiations and closing the sale were a bit hair-raising. How did you kind of manage that process?
Okay, so to get a really good team, obviously I had a fabulous broker. I hope your head's not going to be so big you can't get out of your office when you get back. A fabulous broker, but get a really good accountant and a really good solicitor. And, you know, through it, they were all absolutely amazing. and they all you communicated brilliantly with the accountant and the solicitor. So the last bit just took me by surprise because it was so quick, and it just all happened over a matter of 2 or 3 weeks. We were just, the very final bit was very, very hectic, but I'm so pleased that it was now, that it wasn't drawn out, and we got over the line relatively easy. And yeah, I was just really, really relieved that I knew even in those points that at any point I could WhatsApp you, help, you'd be on the phone, which is absolutely fabulous.
Which did occur actually right towards the end, wasn't it? Where you kind of got the last minute heebie-jeebies, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yes, and I would want, not at the beginning, but I would want you know, to actually, I say, would I want to know that? Maybe I wouldn't want to know how hectic. I mean, you did say to me when we actually got our offer, I remember you saying, right, now look, there's also now going to be a period of time that there is going to be a lot of work. I didn't know what you were talking about until we went through it. But the last few weeks is really quite hectic. And again, for, you know, a hairdresser, we can deal with people and situations and all of that. But the emails and the reading and the paperwork was quite hectic. But oh, when you get out the other side, it's just unbelievably amazing. And already to see the company thriving, it's a joy to know that that was my company and it all went through really, really well. And they're now going to go on to new, you know, I'm really, really just cheering them on.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I dealt with these buyers before. There were individual characters and nuances, which I knew about, and I mean, especially the financial disclosure, I know you found very frustrating. But I guess it was important to know in advance the type of people that we were dealing with, so we didn't we expected difficulty, didn't we? To be honest.
But I think that's where the trust came too, because right at the very, very end, probably if you'd have said, go and stand in the corner with a red clown's nose on and a hat on, I might have done it, because I got to the point by the end times, I got to a point where I completely and utterly trusted what you were saying. I didn't enjoy some of the things you were saying sometimes, but I trusted what you were saying. So when you were saying actually leave that side of things to the professionals, I was able to do that, which was absolutely right. It was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that you are very lucky to have the accountant that you had, and also I found your lawyer fantastic as well. I think I'll be recommending his services to my clients. So
they were amazing, and yeah, they went above and beyond, like you know. I was working with WhatsApp with them as well, so they were fabulous. And because it was also a sale of a business, but also a lease of a business, you know, that's busy enough in itself, and we were doing 2 at the same time. Tom was unbelievably amazing. He also called me the week after just to see if just a courtesy call.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah,
excellent. And
that reminds me, actually, I bought him some hair gel, so I must get it in the post today.
So look, the other thing I was going to mention is that I kind of we have this something called a personal readiness to exit form, which is designed around making sure that you're not going to be disappointed with your exit when it actually happens, and making sure that those issues are highlighted. you know, how do you feel about the deal? How do you feel about how your life is now? No, and are you kind of 100% comfortable that you've got the best deal that you could have out there in the current market?
Okay, so absolutely feel that we both of us, both the buyer and myself, have got a really, really fabulous deal. They have an amazing company, and because it was a share sale, I walked out after all the paperwork and everything. I walked out and they walked in, and they picked up the baton. I thought there was going to, I'd prepared myself also for there to be a lot more them phoning me, and a lot more communication. But again, because we'd done so much of the work beforehand, that's been, the handover has been really, really easy. And I think that's probably the work we did in the beginning, Zach. So because of the handover, because they knew my business so well, they have worked with the accountant and they've worked with my PA for a bit. But I think it's a fabulous deal for both of us. I got what I wanted. They have got the most amazing business that they can now grow and push on. I don't regret. I have no regrets. It's a bit like giving up smoking. You then sort of think, what do I do? What do I do? It's working is also a habit. We're still incredibly busy people, and we're going to continue to be busy people. But I've just taken this last month that really a bit like a holiday. Every day we wake up and it's been a holiday, and I'm not having to do things in a rush now, which is marvelous.
Okay, and finally, what do you have to say to people out there who want to consider selling their business and use our services? Would you recommend us, and if so, why?
Absolutely, and absolutely. And if anybody is considering, you can always say, "Oh, give Angie a call, and she'll tell you about the service." Because in the beginning, we are afraid when we come to you. We are suspicious, because the fear makes you think that people are going to, not be honest with you, and let's face it, there are a lot of people out there that don't actually have my interests at heart, your interests at heart. But your company was just amazing. I would highly recommend you to anybody that is thinking of selling their business and actually want to be protected. And ultimately, I said right at the beginning, I felt that initially what you were asking was more than what other people were asking. But as it pans out, I think I got real value for money in the service that you gave to me. So I think I have to say to people too, sometimes if it's cheap, the service is going to be cheap. That's what you've got to look for too. If you want quality, that sometimes costs a little bit more. But ultimately, the other end, you get that because you got the best deal you possibly could for me. So,
Yeah, because I always say it's easy to sell a business, but it's very hard to sell a business for the market value. And there's a lot of work involved around that.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's what differentiates us. We really try and do the best we can for the client.
Yeah. And the times that you said, I don't think this is a fit, Ange, as I say, it meant a lot more work for you, but you did that because you wanted to get the best for me and my business. So for that, I am humbly grateful.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Angie. Thank you so much.
I hope you
Glowing
don't talk
reference.
about too big-headed now. No, everything I've said is absolutely totally true.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and it was a pleasure working with you as well.
Yeah.
I always learn every single case that I have, and and you know, the whole process was a delight for me. I enjoyed every moment of
Well,
it.
ditto. I'm
You
not
know,
an easy person to work with. I'm quite sort of flighty. It's all storm in a teacup. And I do believe that you very quickly latched onto that too. You know, I don't know, that's not happening. But within 2 minutes, I was sort of coming round to your way of thinking.
yeah, yeah. I think everybody's different, and you've got to. I think an important word that an important mantra that I have is respect. You've got to respect every single person. You know, no other person's going to think like you, but so you have to allow each person their own decision-making process. And if that's panic, crazy,
Yeah.
calm down, okay? Because I'm sure you had a lot of conversations with Keith as well. too.
Well,
And he was
I
great.
can't
Actually,
forget him.
Keith was amazing in the process too.
Yeah,
The
he was
unsung
the
hero.
anchor man. He has
Yes,
been
yes.
for the last 30 odd years, he has been the anchor man. So
Yeah.
and that has worked. He has been unbelievably amazing. I couldn't do any of life without him. So
That's lovely.
but please, if ever you need, I have got a lot of hairdressing
Yeah.
experience. So
Okay.
if you're dealing with a salon owner that ever needs to talk to me about selling a business or just needs reassurance that you're the man, give them my number and
Thank you.
I'm more than happy just to
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Means a lot, Angie. Thank you very much.
tell them how it is.
Okay, that's good. Well, look, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it
We're
has
now at the
truly.
end. We've finished.
Well, listen, also, I hope the sun shines on everything you
Yeah, and
you
likewise with
do.
yourself. I'm sure, you know, I'm sure everything is going to be good. But you know, I'm always there if you need me, you
Yeah.
know. So again, you know, thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure.
No, and
Been
thank
an
you
honor.
so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.